my goodness.
It's been a moment.
It's been a very hot moment.
Yeah.
We decided at the end of the year last year, so freaking weird.
Oh, weird. That's the first time I've like said
right,
that.
same. So we decided to kind of take like most of December off, and just kind of be present and enjoy friendship time.
Have a break, relax.
Right, and just kind of really like take December very mellow. And I think it was definitely very much needed.
Oh yeah, I feel like, I know this is kind of going into our check-ins, but like I feel like, you know, like when you come from a spa or when you watch a movie and someone comes from a spa and they had the whole like face mask, cucumbers on your eyes, like hair all wrapped up in a hot towel or something like that, and then they like leave looking like glowing, feeling refreshed.
Right.
That's like how I feel right now with this. Like I'm excited and ready to be back into it.
Yes, me too. It was so nice. It was so refreshing, and it was just so, like I said, just so needed. And so it was a lot of fun, but we definitely missed recording.
Yes.
We missed you guys. So welcome to season 2.
Yeah.
Also.
Thanks for sticking around, you guys, joining us again, you know.
Yeah.
Giving us that much needed break and still being here when we're back and ready to do stuff.
I know. It's very exciting. Episode freaking 21 in 2021.
What
Hello.
a special episode. Starting off the year 2021 with our 21st episode.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely wild. So exciting.
Yes. So to get us started with our first check-in of the new year.
2021.
Courtney, how you doing in this new year?
I mean, day 3 for us recording right now. Doing pretty well so far.
That's good. 3 days in that it's not like, wow, this year has been super shit already.
But I'm actually doing pretty okay. I feel like you said, like just refreshed and ready to kind of set new goals and try new things and not get so mad at myself for not meeting my goals if that happens, and just stuff like that. Like I just feel refreshed and ready. I don't know if you guys notice if you're new here or not, but we both went and got our hair done over the break too. Like look at us.
Whole new vibes.
New people. So that was really exciting because I don't know if you guys have like, or if you even have the same thing where there's just like a point when you have the same hair for a long time where you just start to feel really ugly and like really bad about yourself. And I had reached that point to where I was like, ugh. And I had like the blonde hair and my roots were down to like right here, like in my base.
It was like a good
right
few
here,
inches
right?
showing.
And I was just like, ugh.
See, for me, it's like not even feeling ugly. It's just like I'm so bored. Like I've looked in the mirror and it's like the same thing every day, and I'm like, I gotta mix it up. Like I want to do something different.
Right. See, I was just like feeling real down about myself, but I fixed that. I was showing Catherine this morning. I bought like a whole new planner, like a new notebook. So just kind of excited, you know, those New Year's feelings. So hopefully that doesn't fade.
Yeah.
Super fast.
Hold on to it for as long as it can.
Right. Catherine.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I think I'm feeling similar things to you. So it's like that excitement of like something new, like who knows what's in store this year.
Right.
Granted, it probably will be a lot of similar things as last year. Right. But I'm still in that like honeymoon phase of the new year of like, this is going to be it. Like this is going to be exciting. And I also am starting, we were talking about this earlier today, I'm starting my Japanese class, not this week, but next week. And I'm really excited for just something new.
Yeah, that'll be so much fun for you.
Yes. And I can't wait for like the like stories I'll have of like me probably being awkward because I'm a little shy when it comes to meeting new people and being in a classroom with like however many new people, and they're probably gonna be a lot younger than I am, and I'm gonna be like, wow, everyone is so like hip with things, and then here I am like dressed for work. Like
you're gonna have to like get on TikTok and start learning that like Gen Z lingo. I can help you out a little bit.
I can't. I'm a lost
TikTok
cause.
isn't alive.
But I cannot wait to share the stories of me being an old person with young people.
Right, and also like that feeling of being a student again.
Yeah.
So
I love being a student. Like
do
student.
You?
Oh yeah.
I hate it.
I like student was the role that was made for me. Like you give me directions, you tell me what to do, I will do it perfectly. So
oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah.
Not me. I hated it.
I miss it. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. I think it'll be so much fun.
Thanks.
But I feel like both of our check-ins are a very good like segue into what we're gonna talk about in episode 21 of 2021.
Yes. Yes.
And we're gonna talk about, you know, New Year's resolution, that feeling, like we just said, that feeling of starting something new, something fresh, and also like how to not be so hard and mean to yourself, and how to set like attainable goals.
Yeah. We're focusing on like New Year's resolutions and like how sometimes New Year's resolutions can do the opposite of what we're hoping for to our mental health.
Right. They can absolutely like escalate it for sure. And I know that's happened to me a few times, especially last year, because I had gotten laid off a month before New Year's, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take December. I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna like just let myself, you know, kind of like regroup, I guess, spend time with my family. Yeah. And then when the new year comes, I'm gonna do all these things, and I ended up not doing all the things that I wanted to. And then I was like, oh my god, I suck. I'm awful. I'm just not gonna try for the rest of the year.
And then you like have the whole year being like, I didn't do any of my goals, and
right. And then it just kind of like falls off. And I remember last year actually, Nate and I had set goals to like walk the dogs every day. And we bought a calendar, and we had like made sure we would like mark down every day that we walked the dogs, and we did that for like 3 months.
That's pretty
where
good.
It was like, and I know like, well, we like, I know you guys walk your dogs every day, but like we have a yard, so we don't have to walk them every day.
Yeah. If we had a yard, we probably wouldn't walk our dogs every day.
Right. And like, especially too, because one of the things that we wanted was to like wake up early and do it before we went to work. And so, you know, we were trying really hard, and Nate was, especially, he went longer than I did, where he would like take them out for a little bit, but he went all the way into like almost April, and I was like, wow. Damn, yeah. So like, I feel like we were pretty good about that for a little bit, but then it stopped, and I kind of like, I guess it was kind of like when the pandemic hit is when it kind of stopped.
Well, and I think that's an interesting point that you made of like your goal is to do it every day. I think that's a huge pitfall that a lot of people make.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, but doing something every freaking day is really, really hard, unless it's you're like brushing your teeth. Honestly, there's been some days where I haven't brushed my teeth. Like, talk about a lazy Sunday. I'm not seeing anyone. Like, there's literally, I can't think of most anything besides eating food
and like getting dressed. Maybe. Yeah, I don't even do that every day.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. Yesterday, I wore the same clothes I slept in for the whole day.
Right. I mean, like, some days I just put on a robe and just stay in a robe. That's pretty much what I did on Friday. I was just in a robe all day long.
So when we're setting these goals of like, I'm going to do this new activity, this new behavior, and I'm going to do it every single day, of course it probably is not going to work out.
Right. It's very like, that's just something that's like completely like unattainable. Like you cannot, especially like jumping right into it too, you cannot be like, oh, January 1st, boom, I'm going to do everything every single day for the rest of the whole year. Like that's not how it works. And so I think it's really important when setting like New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals is to think about it in like weeks or months. So maybe like, okay, the month of January, I'm not going to eat any fast food, or like I'm going to work out 3 times a week, or like something, you know, like make it something that's attainable. And I really love the idea of like setting SMART goals.
Yes. That's a huge thing that we talk about with like counseling.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know, but SMART goals is like, so it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based.
Relevant. Okay, not reasonable. Relevant.
Right.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So the specific is like who, what, when, where, why. Measurable is like how you're gonna like track it, like your progress.
Yeah. Like instead of being like, I'm gonna be healthy this year, you're like, I'm going to eat at home 3 times a week. I'm going to eat vegetables 2 times a day. Like
I'm gonna add
specific
certain, like I'm gonna add greens to at least one of my deals.
So that's like
my meals a day.
one of my deals. So that's like, it's measurable. You can kind of like quantify it.
Right. And then attainable obviously means that it's something that is realistic and you can actually do it, rather than being like, I'm gonna run a mile every single day.
I'm gonna fly to the fucking moon this year. Like, probably not.
Relevant is kind of like, I mean, how it sounds. So like,
it has to fit
like,
you,
right? Like, why are you doing this type of thing? Like, when I was writing my stuff this morning, it was like, why is this worthwhile? Why are you doing this? Why is this important? And then time based. So that's kind of like setting like I said, like the monthly or weekly or even daily. Like, I think people try not to set like daily goals because they're like, oh, I don't know, it just kind of feels like, why am I just doing it per day, when it's like maybe that's what you need to start building that habit, is starting it by day. Because like it's so easy to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this until April, and then I'll set new ones in April, and then you get to April and you're like, shit, I didn't do anything, and then you get so mad at yourself, start feeling really shitty about yourself, and then just being like, oh god, I suck at everything.
And so I think that there's a difference between like setting a goal of like every day I'm gonna walk the dogs versus like I'm going to try and practice like a mindfulness activity every day. Like I think that there's a difference when saying like I'm going to do this every day or I'm going to try and practice this every day.
Right. And I found this thing on Instagram, and I'm actually going to pull it up and I'm going to read it to you guys, and I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. But it is a super cute little graphic on the Instagram account. I'm like, I'll just tag it right here. But it's these little graphics, and it says, do you have any New Year's resolutions? And it says, yeah, but I don't call them that. And it's like, okay, well, what do you call them? New Year's practices. And it's like, okay, why? Then it says, well, every year I make resolutions, so like be more disciplined, learn something new. I start with really great excitement, but when I fail, I feel like I have a weak resolve and I just stop. But when I call it a New Year's practice, I know that I have the whole year to practice and get better. And so if I fail some days, that's what happens when you practice. Slowly and gently, I will practice who I want to be. And then the little person says, I like that. I'm going to make some New Year's practices too. And then it says, just be gentle with yourself, one day at a time. And I absolutely love that. As soon as I saw that, I sent it to Catherine, and I was like, this is so perfect.
Yeah. Because I think, again, it's that like hard and fast resolution. It's like, this is a thing that I'm going to do. It has to happen immediately.
Right.
And it doesn't give us that room for error, which is totally human.
Right.
Just like as we've seen with like us over the year, we have like a resolution of, yeah, I want to be better with my mental health. I want to be healthier. Well, that takes time and practice. And we're not going to be able to do it every day. Some days we're going to struggle with it more than others. So like, it's a practice rather than this like goal that you have to immediately be good at.
Right. And you can't go into something and just expect to like just be doing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing when you're trying to quit something. So like, for example, if, you know, I've never smoked cigarettes, but just for example, if someone who's smoking cigarettes, like they can't just stop like cold turkey. You kind of have to like get yourself off of it. And I mean, you know, maybe some people can do that, but it's very, you know, it's very common to where you have to kind of like wean yourself off of it. And so it's kind of the same thing where you have to kind of like practice these habits and start to turn them into habits.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, I'm going to run a mile every day, run a mile for 3 days, and then just be like, never mind, I'm tired, I don't want to do it. And then be like, oh, well, I didn't run that mile yesterday.
Yeah.
Why should I do it today? What's the point?
Because I think a lot of times a resolution kind of expects you to be an expert at it. So like, I think about, you know, a lot of people at New Year's want to lose weight. So they're like, I'm going to go to the gym every day. And with like that expectation of I'm going to lose all this weight, it has this expectation of like, I'm a pro, I'm really good at working out, exercising, when probably the person hasn't been in the gym for like a hot moment. That's really exhausting starting out going to the gym. It's just so much pressure in the beginning.
Right. And it's kind of like starting something new and kind of like getting that like shock to your body of like, whoa. And so it's like your body has to get used to whatever you're trying to do. So whether it's getting yourself, like if one of your resolutions is trying to journal every day, you're not just going to remember to journal every day. It's going to have to be something that you want to practice.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to like, you know, kind of like train your brain to like make that a priority. And it's
make it natural.
Right. And like, for example, for going to the gym every day, you're all of a sudden exerting your body a ton. You're going to get burnt out real quick. Like it's, unless you're an Iron Man. Like,
or unless you've like built up that pattern for a while where you've gone maybe 3 times and you make it to 4 times, 5 times and every day.
And I think that's what, you know, the emphasis of like New Year's practices is, because like, you know, like for example, one of my goals is to like eat healthier. And so like I'm gonna try this thing where it's like for 4 days in a row I eat healthy, and then I give myself the last 3 days to like eat what I want. And like if I don't eat perfect in the 4 days, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of like trying really hard not to get mad at myself, because a lot of times what'll happen is like, you know, throughout the year I'll set a goal of being like, okay, I need to eat healthy. And then I'll have like not enough time in my work day to eat lunch, and I end up eating like pizza or like
more than likely In-N-Out.
Right, In-N-Out or like chips and ranch dip, and that's my lunch, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh God, well, I can't even do that. Like, I'm just going to eat whatever again. And so that's, you know, that's specifically, that's my pattern. So it's like, okay, no, right? Like, I can write down what I want to eat. I can meal prep all the stuff I want for 3 days. And I'm really trying to take it, like I said, like kind of like by week. So 4 days of eating really nice, and then kind of giving those weekends to let myself like
have a little fun.
Right. And so, and that way I'm kind of getting like both. And then maybe sooner along the way through the 4 days, I'll be eating healthier, and I won't think about, you know, wanting In-N-Out every second.
You're like, I just got to make it to the weekend. Like, these are my healthy days.
Right.
And you will eventually get used to that too, of like that behavior of, okay, these are my like days where I eat the meals at home. Right. And then now's my time to like have a little fiesta, have a little party.
And, you know, I think the hardest thing for me personally is not getting mad at myself. So
one thing that I was thinking about in preparation for this episode was this idea that I had seen a lot on Instagram, and we always say it as well with the new year, is that quote, like, new year, new me. And I think that is so unhealthy.
It's so toxic too.
Because it's like who you are right now is not good enough. Throw that away and become someone completely new and different.
Right. And that's not what like New Year's resolutions are. It's supposed to be to like try and like better yourself, or try to do something that's beneficial for you. And it's like, I think that's one of the things that I like about, you know, the SMART goals, and the relevant part of the SMART goals is like, why is this goal worthwhile? Like, why is this something that you want to attain? Why does this matter to you?
What is the purpose behind it? What is driving your desire for this change? Because if it's something that doesn't genuinely connect with you, you're not going to have that motivation for it.
Right.
And I think too, this whole like new year, new me, again, it's that like complete 180 shift, expecting you to be something completely different just right off the bat. And again, unrealistic. And I think that we should think of it more as like a new year, new growth.
Right.
Like, it's you as like who you are is beautiful. There's so many wonderful things to you. You don't need to be a completely new person.
Exactly.
You just need to bring out what you want to bring out in yourself.
Right. And like, you know, take that time to find it and work on it. And like you said, like new year, new growth, and not just whole new year, new me. Because you don't need to throw away who you were.
No.
Like, you just need to maybe just need to work on your growth and work on yourself.
Yeah, like we all have areas that we're not like super content with, areas where we want to have some change, have some growth, and that's totally fine. That's normal.
It's totally normal.
First one of the year. That was a good one. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
But I think that when I was thinking of like my goals this year, or like my practices I want to do, is much more so like, let me just enhance or build upon these things that I want to change, that I am doing already. Because I think back to in high school, I used to do New Year's goals every year with my girlfriends. We'd have a New Year's party at my friend's house. We'd write them down on a piece of paper. She'd hold on to them. And then the next year we'd open them and read them right after we wrote our new ones. And I can tell you exactly, they're the same ones almost every single year. It was lose weight, which I was skinny high schooler. And like going through puberty, you grow, you put on weight, you get boobs, you get heavier. Like that's how it is. The next goal was always get the lead role in the Play musical.
Nice.
Never happened. I'm not salty about it.
You as my lead.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I think you'd be a beautiful lead.
Just any lead.
I don't care what it is.
And then the third goal was always either get a boyfriend or date my best friend.
Nice.
That also
never
didn't really happen. So like I set really attainable goals, measurable, really worked out.
Right. And I feel like too, and you know, it's a huge goal for a lot of people is to lose weight in the new year. And I feel like, you know, and that's even something that I've thought about, where it's like, okay, do I make losing weight a goal for the new year? And it's like, I feel like that is such a harsh thing to do. And it's like, yeah, if you want to lose weight, like that's fine. I'm not saying like you're wrong for wanting to lose weight, because that's fine. But I feel like setting that goal of like losing weight you just like put this like really bad image on yourself, and you're just like, I feel like it's like a negative thing almost. And I feel like this because, you know, like when I was thinking about it, I was just like, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like it's not realistic. I'm not going to lose weight and like all this stuff. So I kind of flipped mine to be like living a healthy lifestyle rather than losing the weight.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, like society is really big on like losing, like making making your New Year's resolution, like losing weight. And like diet culture like feeds off of it. And even like when I went to Costco today, and I was grocery shopping, and like right in the like not right in the like front, but like right after kind of like the front section when you get to the real part, there was scales, and I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get a scale, and I grabbed it and I put it in my cart, and I was walking around and I was looking at it, and I was like, no, you know what, I don't want the scale. I don't want to know how much I weigh, because then I will start like focusing so hard on it. And so that's really when my like, I mean, we'll just say it happened today, but that's really when my thought like shifted of like, okay, my goal doesn't need to be to lose weight. My goal needs to just be like to live healthier.
And I think too, again, going back to that thing about the motivation and the reasoning for your goals, is your desire to lose weight, is it like because you want to be healthy, because you're trying to get into a more healthy like weight bracket, or is it because you feel like your image doesn't fit like what is pretty in our country, or like
what the societal norms are, which is a whole other episode we have planned.
Yes. I'm just curious for myself. Yeah. What are your New Year's practices? Like, what are you trying to focus on this year?
So, definitely not being lazy, because I feel like I get stuck in a pattern.
So wait, let's change that to positive language. So how would you phrase that?
Not being lazy. No, I'm just kidding. So making it positive would be like moving my body more.
Okay. Yes. Perfect.
Because I find it easy for me to fall into habits of sitting on the couch watching TikTok for hours, or just like watching TV, or just not just sitting on the couch, especially working from home all day long.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest ones is to move my body more. So I did get a bike. I've been planning to get a bike for a few months now, and we were saving up some money, and I had it was just the right time. Happened to be New Year's. It wasn't. It's purely coincidental. Anyways, so move my body more, live a healthier lifestyle, not lose weight, but live a healthier lifestyle. It's kind of all I've thought about so far.
Okay.
But I think that's good for me, because it's part of the like practices part where I don't want to make a bunch of new ones.
Yes.
Because I feel like if I make a bunch, like even if it's 5, I will forget about some, and then I'll feel bad about myself because I'm like, I didn't get all of them. So I'm starting out with 2.
And the beautiful thing is you can always add in like practices later on too.
Right.
This isn't like the end all be all. It's not like, oh, you didn't decide on January 1st you're going to do this, can't do it ever again.
Exactly. And so I think that's, something that's really important for me is kind of starting small and growing it rather than starting really big and not being able to attain all of it.
Because I think that's kind of where we differ. You're like, I want to do all the things, and then you kind of like hop into it, and
I'm
then
really bad at that.
And then it doesn't necessarily like long term. It doesn't like happen long term.
Right. And I think doing this podcast with you has been really helpful, because you're the opposite. You like to take things slow and like work, and it's been so helpful for me. And that's another way where you taught me how to do things, and you inspire me every day. But you're really good at like taking it slow and not really getting mad. I mean, at me especially, but why would you get mad at me?
No.
But you know what I mean? Like being like easy on us about this podcast, and about, setting realistic goals and taking our time and not trying to like push everything. Whereas if once I get excited about something, I'm like, I got to do everything. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And so I just talked so fast. My gosh.
take those big breaths
right. So that's why I really wanted to start small. I honestly haven't even thought about anything else other than moving my body and kind of just living a healthier lifestyle, because I know who I am as a person and how I will handle things, and I know that if I make more goals than that, or more practices than that, I should say, I will try to jump into all of them at once, and that does not work. We've learned that time and time again. And I will end up not doing any of them.
And I think too, your goals are like pretty like big to begin with. Like there's a lot of parts to it. Right. So I think that's like awesome to start with those two.
Right. And I'm just going to start small, hang in there, kind of get into the habit of it, and then see how it goes.
Yes.
What are your goals or practices for this year?
So my practices that I want to start doing, I want to start dancing more often.
Fun.
I started doing like BTS dance workouts. BTS is a K-pop band, for those of you who don't know. And I've really enjoyed it. I haven't done dancing in forever, and I used to do that all the time. And it brought me so much joy. It's something where I'm like super focused. And so I want to do it more often. I also want to try waking up earlier more often.
Don't you already wake up at like 5 a.m. every day?
So I don't anymore.
Okay.
So when I started so I used to wake up at 5:30 a.m.
Like
every day.
day.
Yes, because of anxiety, and it didn't feel very great. And then when I started taking medication, now I'm having the opposite thing where like I'm having kind of a hard time getting up in the morning.
Right.
And
so you're sleeping.
Yes. Well, and I feel like the medication, it just doesn't quite wear off until like 9 or 10, where I feel like fully like myself. So I want to start trying to figure out a routine where I can wake up earlier than I'm waking up right now, so I have enough time to get ready, do my hair and makeup, and not feel like I'm running late
or like rushed.
Right? Yes, especially with me starting classes now too, because my class starts at like 8 a.m.
Okay.
And so like I really don't want to be late for that.
Right.
So I want to do that more often. And then I think that I want to, I mean, obviously my other practices like focus on like learning Japanese.
Right.
And those are kind of the main ones.
Yeah, and I think those are nice.
I think that they're just like mostly like building upon things that I'm doing. I mean, waking up early is not happening right now, so that's like something new that I need to do.
Right.
And the BTS dance workout is very, very new.
Right.
So that's something that I need to like actually get into a practice with.
Yeah.
But the learning Japanese and doing this is kind of something that it's just like continuing it, which is nice.
That is, yeah. And I think those are very easy goals. They're attainable. I mean, not easy, I guess that sounded wrong. You know what I mean though? Like, they're like simple, I guess is what I meant. They're very like simple
they're
goals.
Attainable, they're reasonable.
Right. Yeah, and they're
relevant.
They're stuff that like you can not like easily. There's stuff that you can like build into a habit.
It's realistic.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was searching for.
Well, and if you look at it, so like if we were to break down my like BTS dance goal and we made it into a SMART goal. So S is for specific. So dance workout videos
BTS,
more often.
Specifically BTS, nothing else.
Or K-pop. I mean, like it just gets me pumped. And then we go on to measurable. So for me, I want to try and do it 3 times a week. I think that that's a good starting place for me, especially if they're like 15 minutes. Try and maybe do 2 of them for a 30-minute workout.
Right.
And then A is for attainable. I think they are attainable.
Yeah.
They're realistic, like we're talking about. R for relevant. Obviously relevant. I'm into K-pop. I'm into BTS. I like dancing. I used to do it. It makes sense for me.
Right.
For someone else like LaCroix Boy, maybe BTS dance workout would not be relevant for him.
Even me, honestly. Like, I'm a big ol' lanky noodle. Can you imagine me doing any
I'm picturing you as a lanky noodle. They're just like what?
It's literally like it's like the things that blow.
Oh, outside of car wash place, or like cars where it's
that's my body when I try to dance.
I love that image so much.
Thank you.
I'm picturing us doing like the workout video next to each other, and it brings me so much joy. And then the last one, so we did SMAR and then T for time
something. We'll say
time specific.
Time something.
The memories of a goldfish. We just
time-based.
Time-based. Okay. Time-ish.
We knew it was time something, so time-based.
And so it is time-based because it's like 3 times a week, so like something that we can do each week,
right? Rather
than like once a month, or like has like time frame with that,
right? And I think that's good. And I think too something, I guess, like, how do we go about, and I don't know if you have the answer to this, I don't know if anyone has the answer to this, but how do we go about like not getting so mad at ourselves when we don't attain these goals? Because I feel like I said, my brain is very all or nothing. We're like, I have to do everything or I don't. Like I have to reach these goals or else I suck and I'm terrible and I shouldn't be doing anything, so I'm gonna lay on the couch for the rest of my life. Like how do people that struggle with that same mentality like break away from that and not get so mad at ourselves?
So I think, like, let's take, for example, the example you gave earlier with, like, walking the pups for 3 months every day. So that in and of itself, that you did that for every day for 3 months is awesome. So I think it's shifting the thought process around it of, like, I've learned something from this. Maybe you found new, like, walking trails. Maybe you realize, like, oh, something new about your dogs. Maybe they don't like this type of other dog, or like maybe you had like more bonding time with Nate during those walks. So maybe there's different things that you got out of it. So there still was growth. It's not like that time was wasted.
Right.
It's not like you didn't get anything out of it. And yes, you might not have reached that goal of I'm going to walk every single day 365 for this next year, but you improved and you grew and you got something positive out of it.
Yeah, and I think for me specifically, I think thinking about it on a weekly basis will help me a lot more than thinking about it on a freaking yearly basis or even a monthly basis. I think that, you know, I really also too want to try that's going to be part of my healthy lifestyle is every Sunday morning when I wake up, writing down what I want to eat for the week, like my grocery list, and then maybe writing down like, you know, like what days I'm going to do what. So like if I want to take my bike out on Monday evening, I'll take my bike out on Monday evening. We just got a little boxing guy, a punching bag.
Good old Bob.
Yeah, maybe if I want to do like a circuit workout on Monday and then Tuesday I take it off because that's when I have therapy. So I get home late anyway. So Tuesday I take it off, and then, you know, like just kind of like writing it. And like Wednesday I also take it off so it's not being too crazy. So I have 2 days in a row, 2 days off, and then maybe Thursday I start something again, and just not trying to be like, okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bitch, you better do this or else you're annoying and you suck at everything.
Yeah, hearing you say that like every single day of the week, I like started feeling stressed for you when you're like listing off the days.
And that's how I think, and that's why I think it's so good that we work together, especially on this, because like you are very good at like helping me not think like like I have to do it like every single day, you know what I mean? And like even it's just so great. And so I'm trying to think of it as like weekly goals, weekly practices, not monthly, not freaking yearly. Jeez Louise.
Well, and I think as we're getting close to time, one thing, looking at like our podcast and our Instagram and all of that, even though we took time off during the month of December, we still had new followers. We've hit 300 followers, which was exciting for us. That was a goal we had for a hot moment. And we still have had people listening to the podcast, even when we haven't recorded new episodes. And so we can take breaks. We can do these things where we don't have to be like,
Right.
I try to imitate your...
I just can talk really fast. So I'm like Nick Jonas. Because he can sing really fast. No. Cool.
I don't know that, but I'm excited.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, I got that in that song Camp Rock when he's like, so if you want to know who your girl's gonna play, you know? There's a part of me that should. No? Never mind.
I feel like I need to see it now.
No, one of my friends went to one of their concerts when she was younger, and I like after Camp Rock came out, and he wanted to see like how fast he could sing that song from Camp Rock, the if you want to know who your girl's gonna play, that one. And he sang it. It was like a 2-minute song. He sang it in like 1 minute and 10 seconds.
That's impressive.
Thank you. I'm like Nick Jonas.
It's the moral of the story. But I think that shows that even if we, even if you don't stick to doing something every day all the time, there's still growth and change that happens in those times that we take breaks so that we aren't doing something.
Right.
And like we can still move towards our goals even if we aren't doing it every single day, or if we have a hiccup or we kind of miss a step.
Right. And I think that is important too, that within your practices or within your goals, whatever you want to call it, self-care is still very important.
Yes.
And you can't do something every single day and not practice something self-care. So like, for example, with my healthy lifestyle, let's say that I have a really bad day and my self-care that day is eating a piece of pizza, then that's what it's going to be. As long as I don't eat a piece of pizza for the next 17 days, like...
Which, honestly, I could probably do. I do that semi-regularly, let's be honest here. I'm like, did I have pizza 2 times this week already? What's a third time?
And I do that too, and I've gained some weight in the process. which is fine.
Yes.
We're still loving ourselves. We're still working on it.
Yes.
But, you know, like, it's okay if, you know, you have a bad day and, you know, for your self-care, all you really need is that frickin' piece of pizza.
Yes.
So I think thinking of that in that way of, okay, my self-care today is this piece of pizza, or my self-care, you know, this week is not riding my bike, or, you know, whatever it may be, like, not getting mad and thinking of it as self-care. But I feel like that's also kind of bad for me sometimes too, because then I get too lenient with it. So I have to find a middle ground.
Yes.
I'm very, like I said, very all or nothing, and I get very lenient with my self-care, and I'll be like, oh, in and out for the 4th day in a row. It's my self-care, you guys. And sometimes, like, that's just not.
Sometimes it's more so, like, indulgent rather than self-care.
Right. And so I really need to work on finding a middle ground, but it is still important to make time for that self-care. And some weeks, you know, your self-care really may be having in and out 2 days in a row.
Yeah, I think that, like, what I'd want to, like, end this episode on is eat that frickin' piece of pizza. Do it if you want to. If it's for your self-care, do it.
Right.
Eat it.
Don't get super mad at yourself if you guys are not reaching those goals right away. Give yourself some time. It's okay to make mistakes. We're not all perfect. Try not to get mad at yourself. Also, too, we would love to hear what your guys' New Year's goals, New Year's practices are, and how you think you're going to attain these goals, because we all need help. We all need some tips.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if you guys want to send us some tips for our own goals,
please.
Like, that'd be awesome.
Like, we both kind of went into detail about, like, how we're going to do it. So, like, if you guys have tips for us.
If you guys got some really great BTS K-pop dance workout videos you want to send me,
them our way.
I will gladly do them.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Season frickin' 2. We are so excited for you guys to be here. So we will see you guys next week. Don't forget, new episode every single Thursday. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, I just, like, looked into your eyes and I, like, it all blinked out. I was just like, is there more we say? Because it's been a hot moment since we did this.
I thought you were just saying because you, friendship, stare in my eyes.
Well, also
and
that,
you just
too.
love me so much that you just forget everything.
It keeps happening with your eyes because they look really pretty today. They
Well,
always look pretty, but your makeup is really, like, on point. So I just keep being like, oh. So I had a moment of, like, losing consciousness.
I understand. I'm just kidding. Oh, also, we haven't even talked about our freaking cute sweatshirts.
Oh, yeah.
So we have matching sweatshirts, and they say it's okay to feel a lot.
To feel all... Oh, yeah. It's okay to feel a lot. Yeah.
Reminding you that in 2021, it is okay to feel all of your emotions. It is okay to feel a lot. It is okay to work on yourself and your mental health. And your feelings are valid. And your goals are valid. And your practices are valid. And you're fucking valid.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram at That's Totally Normal Right. New episode every Thursday.
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
We will see you guys in our next episode. Bye, friends.
Mata ne.
Don't get super mad at your guys.
So,
golly gee willikers.